Straight Shooting Sports Talk, and I'm your host, Eugene Bland. Before we get into the show, just want to let you know the ways you can get at me on Twitter. Not Bland21. If you don't do the Twitter thing, we do have an email address. That's straightshootingst. That's all one. Straightshootingst at gmail.com. So today, we're going to talk a little bit about these divisions and which division is the best in the NFL as it stands right now. I believe we are in week 10 coming up, end of week 9, as we are awaiting Monday Night Football. But what division is the best division in football? We're going to talk a little bit about that. We're also going to talk a little bit about the Green Bay Packers. And is this all on Aaron Rodgers? Is this all Aaron Rodgers' fault of why this team has struggles? I got my thoughts on that. Then we'll talk a little bit about this Monday night matchup, and I'll give you my pick on who's going to win in that regard. All right, first up, we're going to talk about these divisions. And a lot of these divisions are pretty tight. The AFC East is pretty much a disaster. Not what we thought. A lot of 500 teams and below 500 teams there. Thought the Jets would be up there slugging it out with the New England Patriots. Not so. They are 7-1 and pretty much on their way to winning that division. It's a barn burner, if you want to call it that. A team of 500 or less in the AFC East with the top spot being credited to the Baltimore Ravens 4-4, and they're tied with the Pittsburgh Steelers at 4-4. You look at the AFC South, one team over 500. That would be the Houston Texans at 5-3. Everybody else is below 500, 4-5 at best. 2-6 Jacksonville Jaguars, which to me are absolutely a disappointment, given the talent they have on that football team. The question of whether Blake Bortles has regressed or not. And I wrote an article about that earlier. Again, you can catch my work on Straight Shooting. You can catch my work, written work on sportsjourney.com. And I tell you, I really feel like coaching is a problem. But again, they're 2-6 with a lot of talent. And at the bottom of that division, again, AFC West, man, what a bunch of great teams we have there. And that even including the San Diego Chargers in that one. You have some 7-2, had that matchup last night. Denver and the Oakland Raiders, they get on top, taking it to 7-2 in the division. You got Kansas City Chiefs, of course, Super Bowl champs also in that. Tough division, man. You have to, if you're in that division, every game counts. Not saying that every game doesn't count across the NFL, but my goodness, man, there's not any room for any mistakes. And you look at the NFC, you got the 7-1, the NFC East, 7-1 Cowboys, exciting. Jason Witten excited, and he has every right to be. This team is on a roll and looks like a formidable football team, looks like a well-oiled machine and an organization that is operating at its best. Along with the Giants, who got a big win over the Eagles. Then you got the Redskins and the Eagles at the bottom. You look at the NFC North, it seems like the Minnesota Vikings are like reeling right now at 5-3, and they're 1-2 in the division. And at first, it seemed as if they were going to really punch the division in the mouth. And seems the last two games they've got punched in the mouth late, losing them late. Detroit getting that win yesterday. Matthew Stafford doing what he did to the Washington Redskins late in the football game and getting a win, getting a W. That guy has to be considered MVP. Just saying. Green Bay, don't know who they are, and Chicago Bears, well, Chicago. You have the NFC South division full of talented teams. The division leaders last year, Carolina Panthers, didn't look so well. And then you have the Saints, Tampa Bay, and then the leaders, The Atlanta Falcons, surprisingly, in my opinion, especially with that defense, but they keep finding ways to win. Seattle leading a mediocre division as well. Most teams are at 500 or a little above 500 and below. Have two tires there. 4-2 being the top spot for the Seattle Seahawks, followed by the Cardinals, Rams, and then the 49ers at the bottom at 1-7. Uh, they just don't have a lot of talent on the offensive side of the football. So, who's the best division in football? Now, I say in the AFC, it has to be the AFC West, and I kind of tweeted that this morning after taking a look at Sunday football and having an opportunity to see it, the different games. The AFC West has to be the best division in football, followed by the NFC East. And I tell you, Raiders fans have to be excited, but Jack Del Rio, I said it when he got hired there, thought it was going to be an excellent hire for that football team, and it's turning out as he's starting to gather his kind of guys, his kind of players. They're starting to draft a lot better. Now they have a formidable football team that can be considered for the playoffs.
Playoffs?
Yep, I'm talking playoffs. Something they haven't seen in decades, maybe years, decades, maybe much, but they haven't been there in a while. The Kansas City Chiefs, steady Eddie with Andy Reid. That's something that he was very good at in Philadelphia, has taken that steadiness to Kansas City. They're sitting there at 6-2, and Denver Broncos at 6-3, and you know the San Diego Chargers 4-5, still a tough football team. If you look at the last 5 games, they've won 3 out of the last 5, but they have been in every football game this season. I don't think there is a game where you can say they maybe, I don't think there's a game that you can say that they were blowed out in. They were they were in every game, winning or losing by 7 points or less, and winning some close games as well. And this team seems to be on the up and up, especially after that win, continuing to fight defensively, getting some defensive scores against the Tennessee Titans, 43-35 there. So this is an incredible division with the Oakland Raiders and Chiefs. And Oakland, to me, is one of the teams at the top, if not the top team, that can formidably compete against the New England Patriots. Defensively, their defense is something we talked about as well. Wrote an article on that, talking about their defense needing to improve, and they have improved as the weeks have gone on. You saw yesterday Khalil Mack getting 2 sacks. You see them making plays in the secondary, getting pressure on the quarterback, and getting teams off the field on third down. And you like their offense has always been there. I said that at the beginning of the year as well. They have, I think it's 1A and 1B, Dallas Cowboys, Oakland Raiders when it comes down to the best offensive lines in football. You saw that yesterday. I believe it was like 130 yards for Murray, 3 touchdowns. And that's something that they wanted to do. They wanted to run the football down the Broncos' throats and send a message. Send a message that they're a physical football team. And pretty much, I mean, if you look at this team, they're very old school. They like to run the football, like to beat you up, and like to control the line of scrimmage and dominate you in the run game. And then that opens up things for Carr, who is phenomenal with his ball placement, with his accuracy, and getting the ball to his receivers in a timely manner, and making smart decisions as well. When you look at the NFC East, and you cannot deny that the Cowboys are one of the best teams, and I say probably, and not in any particular order, after 1, we know is New England Patriots. I say 2, Oakland Raiders, 3, Dallas Cowboys. That's just right off the top of my head. Very well could go, you could flip the Raiders, you could flip the Dallas Cowboys if we analyzed it a little bit more, and maybe we'll do something like that. But I tell you, the Dallas Cowboys have proven that they are not just a team that is just reeling off of luck. They are putting together formidable wins. Now, anybody can talk about the Cleveland Browns and how bad they are. And I tell you that you can get beat by any team on any given Sunday. And they did not take this team for granted. They went in there and took care of business 35-10 with a team, which I think this is the second time that the Browns have been badly beat this year. They have been in every game, they have fought in every game. And they are not a team that lays down. You have to go in there and take it. And that's exactly what the Cowboys did. They went in there, punched them right in the mouth, and pretty much kept their foot on the gas and did not let up. And that was very important. And it's important for Dallas Cowboy fans to see that as well. It shows the discipline that's been lacking with this football team is appears to be coming around. Guys are seeing the importance of staying focused. I think Jason Garrett has stressed that about them being focused on the task at hand, taking it one game at a time. And I know that's cliche, but that's something that the Cowboys haven't done very well over the years when they have had talented football teams. And again, the defense with guys out like Mo Claiborne. And they're missing a few people in the secondary. They had to put Scandrick out there at the 2, and they still were able to get the job done. So kudos to them. And what they have accomplished up to the 10th week. You look at the Giants; they are what they are. They always seem like they're dead in the water, but they continue to fight. They're at 5-3. Washington Redskins probably should be better than 4-3 record shows, but they are another team that is very tough, continue to fight, and these teams, Eagles as well. I think there's some issues there, and I'm going to discuss that a little bit later this week on how they can help Carson Wentz a little bit better. I think it was a lack of help there in that Giants game, but the Giants get the win. And this division is going to come down to winning divisional games, your divisional record looking good, and the Philadelphia Eagles have the worst division record. Uh, Looks like the Redskins and Giants have done an excellent job, along with the Cowboys as well. Each of them are 2-1, and it's going to come down to a tight race. I don't think the Cowboys are going to completely run away with it, and we'll take a look at the schedules and talk about that. But overall, this division is definitely number 2 as one of the toughest in the NFL. Now, I'll talk a little bit about Aaron Rodgers and his struggles. Once again, they lose a close one to a team that really, to be honest with you, in the Colts, that they should have been able to beat, especially at home at Lambeau Field. And they're starting to lose a little bit of that mystique of Lambeau Field and the toughness, being able to play in that environment. Again, we look at the quarterback as being the 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 catalyst, shall I say, to be able to go out and take games, win games. And we've seen Aaron Rodgers do that many times, take over ball games, make receivers that he has on this squad better than what maybe some feel that they should be or are. And this year, he seems to be struggling in that department, missing a lot of throws downfield. He's missed some receivers, but then I also look at some plays where um, guys just aren't open. I mean, you can look across the board and there's no one open. Uh, if someone said that your quarterback was going to be, um, going to have the statistics uh, to have a 96.1% QB rating, um, to have 2,000 plus yards, only 5 interceptions on the year, and 20 touchdowns, you're probably going to take that. You're probably going to say, "Sign me up. Give me that quarterback. I know we can win ball games." And that's Aaron Rodgers' stats. Now, I totally understand. He's about, I think it's 60 some percent completion percentage. That's not bad as well. 63.5. Usually he's around the 65, 66, 67 range, 68. So it's still not bad. That's comparable to most quarterbacks in the league. But I'm gonna tell you the actual problem is not Aaron Rodgers, although he has been inaccurate as of late. Look, man, when teams know you don't have a running game, I mean, your running back is Ty Montgomery. No disrespect to Ty, but your running back is Ty Montgomery. Need I say more? I mean, that's not going to scare anybody. And I mean, yes, is he shifty? And they try to get some things as far as blocking's concerned to enable holes where he can blast through because of his burst of speed. Sure, but he's not going to pound it for that 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, and get those tough yards. And when a team, any team, whether they make you one dimensional, this team is one dimensional. I mean, they throw different things, different bubble screens and screens out of the backfield using Ty Montgomery as a as a weapon. But overall, this team is one dimensional and they pass a lot. And when teams and defenses know that, hey, I mean, again, I was at the Atlanta Falcons game when they played Atlanta, and it was clear, especially on that last drive. It was 30 some seconds left, and we know Aaron Rodgers with less has scored touchdowns to win ball games. It was clear that the Atlanta Falcons felt that they could man to man up, which they did, and they knew that they were going to pass. But they were pretty much passing all day long. Both teams were, to be honest with you. Now, there was 1 or 2 drives where Atlanta had dominated them in the run game to score touchdowns by running. But most of the time, especially with the Green Bay Packers, they were passing the football. And when teams know that you're passing the football, it's pretty much a meeting at the quarterback for the guys up front. It's try to get there, try to get pass rush, try to contain him, and then try to bring him down. Don't let him get out of containment and break those long runs that we know that Aaron Rodgers likes to do. Plenty of running backs, man. Plenty of running backs on the waiver wire that are guys that can go out and at least give you some yards. I mean, there's plenty of running backs on people's rosters right now, and you don't have to trade much to get them. But it seems to me, even when the waiver wire was full of running backs, it seems to me that the organization would have done something to put a running back on this roster, a formidable running back that can give them some level of consistency. And it doesn't have to be a 50-50 thing, but at least something that, hey, we have to respect the run here. And that's what this team is lacking, a formidable running game that can take the pressure off of Aaron Rodgers and, again, get that separation that Jordy Nelson is unable to get now because they know that Jordy Nelson can't beat them deep. He hasn't really done that on a regular basis. They're willing to go 1-on-1 over there, tie him up, and then maybe they might shade a little coverage over the Cobb or whatever. But guys are pretty much lining up man to man, and these guys are unable to get separation. So they have to improve there, whether it's better scheming, whether it's getting a formidable running back. They have to have something there that teams are going to respect, that's going to see a little bit of balance, that they're not just going to say, hey, we know Aaron Rodgers is lining up almost 85% of the time, 90% of the time, and he's throwing it. That's going to help this team out a whole lot, but can't put this all on Aaron Rodgers. At some point, coaching, along with front office, they're the ones that make the decisions, and there has to be some better decision making coming along with this squad if they want to compete. And the division's still there. Division's still there. So we're going to talk a little bit about the Monday night matchup against the Bills and Seattle Seahawks. I think if you've heard my show enough, or even if you've read my articles, you know how I feel about teams traveling over to Seattle. It's a tough thing to do. Most teams who travel from the East Coast over to the West Coast, 9 times out of 10 in that stadium, have lost. The problem is, though, this is not the same Seattle Seahawks that we've come to know over the last several years. Lots of injuries, and guys are trying to get healthy. Russell Wilson being one of them. That running threat has not been there this year, and they're 29th in points per game. That's at the bottom of the league. And we know it's scoring 18.7 points a game, unless you got that defense that you had in previous years, which has not been what it used to. you're going to lose ball games. You're going to lose a lot of ball games. But they're sitting at 4-2-1. They had that tie that I don't like, and they suffered a 25-20 road loss to the New Orleans Saints last Sunday as well. So here we are, Monday Night Football, a Bills team that has been hot, playing well defensively, getting a guy in Percy Harvin back out of retirement, feeling healthy, a guy who has quickness to be able to stretch the field. I like the Bills' chances in this game. And it's because they bring a balance with Shady McCoy, his ability to run the football, his elusiveness in catching screens out of the backfield. Now you add a Percy Harvin into the mix, who is going to test their defense deep. He may just be out there as a decoy, but you have to respect this guy. Tyrod Taylor can throw the ball, throw a good deep ball. And then you add Tyrod Taylor's ability to run the football as well. There's going to be a combination of things that Rex Ryan can do to win this game. Now, it's going to stem on them having a quality outing on the defensive side of the ball. It's going to be containing Russell Wilson, not allowing him to make these extra Houdini come out of the pocket. All of a sudden, you think he's wrapped up throwing deep balls and getting guys involved and getting into an offensive rhythm at home. If they can do that, they can keep the Seattle Seahawks defense guessing, keep them honest by utilizing Percy Harvin. Maybe you hit a few of those, but utilizing Percy to push the defense, push the secondary so they don't come up and suck up and stop that running ability. I like the Buffalo Bills' chances to be able to win this football game tonight. When you look at their last few games, they have been quite a team that has come out when people thought they were dead in the water. And I thought, especially after Rex putting his foot in his mouth. When does he not put his foot in his mouth? But after the loss suffered, when they took that loss to the Jets, there thought that this team was dead in the water in week 2. Then they come back and they reel off a couple. And here they are after the Patriots loss, which we kind of figured would be a loss, and they suffered that loss to the Dolphins. Here they are, sitting at 5-3 and having an opportunity to at least fight for a playoff spot. They're not the did I say 5-3? Yeah, I believe they are 5-3. No, they're 4-4. Sorry about that. 4-4 and 1-3 in the division. But they have to get a win here if they want to keep pace. They want at least a shot at getting a wild card spot. And as we talked about, there's not too many other teams in their conference that are of great records. So it's still wide open and trying to get a spot, at least a wild card spot in the playoffs. So it's going to be a good game tonight. So watch. It's going to be right before politics, election. So enjoy Monday Night Football. Again, you can subscribe to this show on iTunes. We are there. So go over in the search, type in Straight Shooting Sports Talk, and you will find the show there, and subscribe and keep you locked in here. A little bit longer show today, but we had, I like to run my mouth. So also, you can follow my work at sportsjourney.com. That's sportsjourney.com. And always, you can send in questions. You can hit me up on Twitter at NotBland21. We'll talk shop. And we'll even, if you have any questions that you sent to me on Twitter, we'll even talk about them here on this show. So thank you guys very much. Enjoy Monday Night Football, and we'll get at you tomorrow.
Yeah, crab cakes and football. Nice. That's what Maryland does.